I'm Jay Noble. I'm the director of Mount Gretna School of Art. Welcome to the Mount Gretna School of Art's lecture series. Tonight we're in the Heights Community Building where the students normally hold their classes. I want to thank Stinson Strout for his support of our lecture series, and Purpose One for being one of our corporate sponsors this summer. Our intensive program, in case you don't know, it's a 7-week pressure cooker of painting outside and connecting with nature, learning about the nature of seeing. And we also provide a need-based scholarship system, which I'm pretty proud of. You know, as a nonprofit, this doesn't happen out of thin air. So if you're into what's happening, any little bit you chip in, and if you're online, if you go to our website, there's a support page. And then one of the ways we connect with the greater community is through these lectures, which we would be giving our students anyway. It's fun to be able to open it up to a community like Mount Gretna that's actually into art, which is great. And also now online. I'm going to introduce Ro, who's here beside me, Ro Lohin. Tonight's lecture is called Stardust and Murmerations. Ro got her MFA at Partisans and did an Artist for the Environment and Landscape program in Walpack, New Jersey. And she did the New York Studio School program in Paris and got her BA at the University of Carolina. She may have more to tell you. I'm going to whip through this, but she got a Cité Internationale d'Art, Paris. And she's shown at the South Street Gallery, the New York Studio School, a bunch of other places. So that's it.
I'll just put this on so that you don't get bored. I want to thank Jay and for having me here. It's an honor. I love this school, and it's just the way I studied at the studio school, which is drawing and painting from life as much as you can during the day, and some good lectures at night. And I just have to throw in a thank you to Kevin, my husband, who's a painter, who waved me on and coached me and drove me here and shored me up for this lecture. I like to be alone in my room. That's what a painter does. So being public in a big room with other people is, makes me nervous. Anyway, this is a really old one. I just put a few old ones in. This lecture is going to be a little unorthodox. There's things in here to cheer me up as I move along. And so I put this in to show you that after the studio school, I painted on this abandoned highway in New York City for 4 years. I dragged my French easel over there, set it up, and do these kind of paintings. And so I was doing the things. I was trying to find the cloud, the building, the street, the puddle, and stuff like that. And things changed from that. So I have several motifs, and I love to draw, and I like to draw from life. So this just, when somebody gives me flowers, I pull out the pastels and do a flower study. So this is an old one, but just wanted to put this one in because it's well loved, and then it looks great where it is right now. Now, to get me a little happy and something to look at, this is a Vuillard, and I just saw this in Paris during my residency there, and I'm not trying to match it with mine, but it's so delicate and beautiful, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. And, he probably got a bouquet of flowers himself. Anyway, it looks like it's a pastel, small. I threw this in because this seems to be, this might have something to do with what you're doing right now. This is Mondrian. And, you can see that you're struggling with the things that he did here: warm and cool green, a tree trunk, how to make it solid, how to press the white forward from behind. And so this is the type of lecture this is going to be. It's not all me. So because I paint from life and I couldn't go out to the West Side Highway anymore, I got a skull. This is a cow skull or a horse skull. And I started painting, and I'm not sure how this happened exactly, but I'm going to blame it on Cézanne, which is finding a piece of the experience, not a represented thing of the experience. So that is part of the takeoff of where my work is today. And so this, at that time, I was saying, I'm painting in blobs. I'm painting in blobs. And so this is the skull on a table. I'm not sure if this is a lot later than that one, but I started using color, and this is the dot. So I was did these things a couple of years. This is a goblet, if it doesn't look like it, with some fruit in it. And I was trying to, I'm sure I was looking a little at Bonnard. I'm sure I was just trying to find a piece of reality that echoed the space and light. Here's another one. So I would get on these motifs. I still do this, just keep doing the same thing over and over. JD, you know what I'm talking about. Just keep at it. And because until you're not engaged, you're engaged. And you really have to be doing what turns you on. So anyway, this is a goblet with some fruit in it and on a table in front of the whatever. And then, so I did try to I would really be a figurative painter if I could afford to have a model as much as I painted other things. So this is a friend who modeled for me, and this is a kind of a hybrid painting. And this painting's at least 20 years old. I don't know where it is, but you can see that I'm kind of started it one way, and then this other urge in me was doing it another way. And, so just what happens. And, just showing that for that reason. Now, this is something this is Ruth Miller, who's this marvelous painter. And I have said over and over to anybody who listened to me, I really believe this. Ruth, if you're in here, this is what I believe. She's the greatest living painter. That's it. I don't want to take this lecture up on Ruth Miller's paintings, but if you want to talk to me afterwards, I can walk you through why her language is so rich and volumetric and luminous and earthy, and the touch changes from edge to edge, and there's surprise all over it. So I just adore her work, and I was really lucky when I had the gallery to represent her work and get to spend 30 days with these works. That was the thing about the gallery that was so much fun. 30 days with works I can just walk up to and play with. And that is Ruth Miller right in the center. And she's with the painter Marianne Gagne and her husband, Kim Sloan. This is I think at Pamela Salisbury Gallery. Just want to show you Ruth's beautiful and painting well right now. And she'll have a retrospective at the studio school in September. And I would say drop everything and get to that. It's going to be incredible. And she was my teacher at the studio school. And a real force. I had a lot of good teachers. This is Nick Caroni. You might hear his name from your teachers every now and then. And he's looking at Ruth Miller's painting. This is a show she had with Natalie Chockaw. And Natalie is a relief sculptor in stone, and those are her pieces in the back. But Nick is looking at one of Ruth's still lives. So just like that. And threw this in because Radon is a beautiful image maker. And I think this was at an auction. I thought it was beautiful. And, a reason to paint flowers if you are so inclined to paint something so delicate and change and whatever. So now the next one, this is like a keynote or a seminal painting for me. This is a red wheelbarrow. I have two quotes. This one is Lucretius. Okay, so this is a really old, on the nature of things. And this goes with my title of Stardust. The stuff of the universe is an infinite number of atoms moving randomly through space, like dust motes in a sunbeam, colliding, hooking together, forming complex structures, breaking apart again in a ceaseless process of creation and destruction. There's no escape from this process. When you look up at the night sky and feel unaccountably moved, marvel at the numberless stars, you're not seeing the handiwork of the gods or a crystalline sphere detached from our transient world. You're seeing the same material world of which you are a part and from whose elements you are made. And that's 55 BC. So somehow, and we're fast forwarding from those goblets by, a lot of years. yeah, there was this wheelbarrow out back, and I just started to draw with the splat. So I have the canvas on flat on the ground and the wheelbarrow in front of me, and went at it. And I did 5 or 6 of these. But in Long Island, I just got hooked on this one corner of our, either it was a quarter acre or a half acre property. So this is maybe this is 6 years ago. This is early spring, and it's probably as big as that image on the screen, maybe 3x4 or a little bit bigger. The forsythia was coming to bloom, and it was in Long Island out on the North Fork. The air is very heavy, and I mean, you can feel the water in the air. But this is sort of the way forward with my painting. So I painted some oak trees. Let's see. And this is 3x3. It's a square in lots of seasons. This is late summer. And maybe I worked on this painting 2 weeks. I don't know, all the time, just splatting and just building it up with the splat. This is another one. This one I did title, a friend helped me title it Between Worlds. It's definitely the Long Island corner of the property, and it's got a spirit to it. But, sometimes paintings they take on a life of a spirit of their own. I don't know. This one is also a 36 by 36 square. This one has a lot of mystery to me. So I'm drawing with the splat. I'm just standing there, I'm just drawing and learning how to control it. This is a birch tree. It was on the border of the property. And this is one maybe 5 feet by 3 feet, something like that. It's a big one, a large one. And I started to really, just like hurl the paint because I'm standing like that. And that's only important insofar as what it led to a little later. But I love color and I love light, and I was trying to dig the negatives out and have travel and make, rhythms with the color that I saw and keep building. This one is a bad photograph of a painting that I really like because I felt like there were merging other shapes that evoked other feelings. A secondary image is kind of the way Caroni talked about that sort of thing, where it's a high state when you look at clouds and you're looking for your mother's face up there, something like where you see, it's your imagination is coming to a mess and then it comes out. And I feel like this one got to a certain mess, and yet it's the tree, it's the birch tree and the oak tree, but it was giving me something back that I'd never intended, I had no idea it would be going that way. Anyway, this is a big one, and close to when we sold that property like 2-3 years ago. And I would say this one is maybe, what am I, 63? It's probably as tall as I am. And I worked on it a long, long time. Maybe it's this painting that was taller than I was. There's another one too, where I completely tore my rotator cuff. Not a little tear, like the whole thing, MRI and all. So I've had to do some rethinking. But I love like sprinkling a light with more color, or I love this way of working. It's just through the years, I've always liked to go back to black and white. And this is another big one, and I just feel like I'm drawing. I love charcoal, and went out there to the apple tree and the hedge and whatever. And so I've done, even in graduate school, I did a black and white still life. They were scratching their heads about it. And I mean, if it didn't repeat itself, I would say that was odd, but actually I just like, and I like doing that. I feel like maybe there were some things missing in my color, like value or mass tone or something. I'm always thinking of what don't I do that I should be doing, learning? This is one a little more recent, but still, this is probably 2 years old. And I think I got hooked on the idea that I should maybe understand how a mass has solidity, which wasn't the way I started out doing these things, to have a light and a mid-tone and a dark and build a solid out of that. Just that's the way I work. So I'm not really resting. I don't think of it this way. I'm not resting on my laurels, but I'm always engaged in how can I just push this further? And I think most people who are real painters, have that criteria. Another fairly large one, that's a fence over there on the left. And I don't know. I let that light spill in from the upper right. This is a little fainter than the actual painting, but it's I thought it was a large, ambitious one. Maybe I did 5 or 6 black and white ones like this. I thought they were good at the time. Anyway, this is still in Long Island, and this is a small painting, but I don't know, maybe the blob was coming back or just trying to make a bigger commitment to something. It seems like my commitments were small. And now this is the next one is To Shame Me. This is the beautiful Bonnard. I mean, you can see I love Bonnard, but this is so beautiful to me. And I love the way he takes down a color or builds up a color, and that's white on the top that looks like it's, that cloud is like white paint marching across it. It actually looks like it's part of the shadow, but it's not. Yeah, these are just wonderful. I really love Poussette d'Art, and this is called Blood Wedding, a very large painting, maybe 10 foot by 7 feet. It was at an auction house, and they're very dense and mystical, and out of a place that I don't know, but I'm attracted to. And I think he had a show this past year at Pace Gallery that knocked my socks off. Okay, so a little comic relief. We bought 20 acres in the Yucatan jungle, and Kevin, my husband, built a little house, and our next door neighbor was a donkey and then 2 donkeys. So this is, I just fell in love with animals and especially this donkey. So I have some animal, and I like to draw a lot animals. So these are his little pig family. And this is maybe 2 years old. And I think at this point, I'm really trying to get a grip on rhythm by movement. So things are moving. These pigs aren't posing, and just trying to keep the line moving in and out of volumes, but also, doing whatever I do, but I like it. And I always work 18 by 24, and I work a lot with chalk and sepia chalk. And yeah, this guy I go riding with, a young horse. He let me draw him. Down there, you can just go to, this is a corral with a lot of Brahman cows, and the foreground is the water trough, and all these cows come up, and it's really hot, so they chew their cud and then come for the water. And I just like to keep the line living, and so I go back to this very spot. It's a beautiful place on earth, and draw the cows all the time. And I think that feeds to my into my paintings, just studying rhythm this way. Well, that's my favorite dog in the Yucatan. His name is Shoot, which in Mayan means no tail. And he's wild. He's the most attentive. Here's so I've done a lot of donkey drawings. This is Camilla and paintings. And so I just go over, it's the next door, and sit down and see what happens. And they bring, I either go to where they are or they tie them to a tree and let me draw, and practicing whatever I practice. Like in this one, the more you will look at this, the heads turn around. There's a head over there. The thing goes this, the donkey's moving. And so I'm going with that. And the drawing has everything. I think it's a very tight drawing, even though it looks a little scribbly or whatever, but it's what I started doing, which is everything's moving. So why not just move with it? This one, if you can see the donkey's butt or the heads, the different heads, just leaving keeping open to whatever was going on and jumping tracks with line to in and out of negative space and just doing it again and trying to keep track of what's there in the first place. Okay. And then, this is Smokey. He's old. He's leaning against the wall. And he died. Well, now everywhere I go, I meet donkeys. So it's like when I was in France, there are 2 donkeys there. This is a donkey in upstate New York. So I do adore them. Anybody wants to talk to me about why a donkey is not a horse and not a cow and more like a dog, I'm ready to talk. There's something. And they're a riot too. So I've got a lot of luck in my life. And I'll just say that my sister made a little catalog for me. It's very beautiful. So I took this photograph, not the Camilla E. Rowe part, but I'm drawing. There's Camilla over there. I'm drawing. I have my camera and a butterfly lands on my hand. I just took this picture. But my sister made a little, like a catalog, and it's all about my relationship to Camilla. And, but it's got all these, it's just the most charming thing. And she did it on her own and didn't even put her name in it. So thank you, Elaine, if you're watching out there somewhere. Okay, back to Paris. So this is my favorite painting in the Louvre. It's Watteau, and I put this one in so you get the scale, and you could never get the beauty of his and the luminosity of the translucencies and his beautiful drawing. And I've loved this painting. Maybe Leland took us there like 40 years ago, and I never realized that there's actually a donkey in this painting, which is the most wild thing. Not that made me love it more. I mean, it's just, if you go to Paris, the quality of the white of that satin and the melancholy in that face is just Watteau. Okay, so I draw in the museums. This is a Titian deposition. I might have started this in a museum and finished it elsewhere. This is another one of these black and white things. I mean, if I'm going black and white, just get every black and every white of anything I have. So if it's gouache or chalk and just whenever I need this or that, I do that. And this is also very, very beautiful. The composition in Titian's depositions or any of his paintings, it carries the weight of the emotion of the scene. Oh, so I always go drawing the figure at this place in Manhattan, Minerva's Spring Street Drawing or something. And so this is just a drawing I liked of, Sunday morning drawing. And I like to draw heads. That's the same model. She just inspired me. And I don't usually do this, but I did a painting from this. And, I'm going to try to be away from the motif a little bit and to try to work from my drawings. So this is using that splat. And then I was like, I narrowed down my palette to be like a cave painter or something, some ochre, some black, some white. I thought they could do it. Maybe I'll try that. So anyway, this is Caroni, he did heads all his life. They're imaginary heads. And this is just a beauty that I happen to have a photograph of. It's his range from stone heads to linear figurative works to solid heads like this. It's just so marvelous. And I love this head. And then just to bring me down to size, this is a Goya. I think this is the blind man, and just so beautiful, so beautiful. Okay, and then while back to Paris, this is just, a favorite Rousseau of mine. It's really it's dynamic, it's invented, obviously. That it has a like cello almost foreground, and it's so wild. It has, maybe it's the Call of War or something. There's a title to it, but it's a powerful, powerful painting, and it's certainly different than the beautiful tiger paintings and all the ones he's really known for. It's really wonderful. Okay, here's a surprise. I had no idea this person was going to be here. I didn't know it, but that's Martha Armstrong. And this is one of the paintings that was in her show. And I mean, come on, this is just one hell of a painting. To me, there's a spirituality, there's a surprise, there's a solidity, the luminosity, and just gorgeous, just a gorgeous painting. So that's who you're studying with. Yeah, using that circle that almost has a sound to it. Obviously the sun, but she's got sound in this one. She's got, an almost crucifix. It's kind of wild. It's a beautiful, beautiful, puzzling work. Now, this is Charles Cajori, and he was a force of a painter, and he did not do these from life. Not that that's the criteria, but he was very, every single thing he put down was in relationship to everything that was already down. And he wanted the most in his paintings. I mean, volume and rhythm and movement about the way life moved. He loved jazz. And this one's called Epistrophe. It's just a very large painting, very, very dynamic. And it really, movement was just part of what I'm thinking about. And if you get a chance to ever see any of his paintings, make sure you do. His color has place. And I like when a painting doesn't give itself up easily, that you're constantly moving, and that is the painting that, so I do go to these drawing sessions, and this is like what you do with 5-minute poses, right? I can't stand them. For me, I was just putting them on top of each other and trying to compose within the page and, grabbing another color. These drawings show you kind of why my paintings do what they do, I think. So I'm interested in things that move. And this is the last Coroni I'm putting in. I did represent his works on paper in my gallery, and that was a real treat. But this painting, which morphs and morphs and morphs. I mean, there's 100 different ways that these figures are flying around and doing sexy things and disappearing and coming back. And all of his work has that. I mean, this is not an anomaly. Like, you get a chance to look at his work because he's taken a living line and putting volume on both sides of it. And it's figurative and it's sensual and sexy and just amazing. Well, I shouldn't follow me up with that, but this is about me liking movement. This is Nell's playing piano downstairs on the Bowery where we live. And I'm just, it was just a way. I like hands. I like studying hands so that when you try to put a hand down, you're not putting an oven mitt. You actually have some relationship to the planes of the hand. So I'm always studying them. This is the hands of a farmer in the Yucatan, Juan. And he's in his 80s, and he worked with his hands on a henequen plantation all his life. And I just, studied his hands, and I really got a lot out of it. But back to where I go drawing in New York. So there's This is maybe 2 years old. There's Andrew Bolitowski. He's a flute player, and so there's a model and all these people drawing the model, and Andrew is overplaying the flute on the side. And I guess over a period of time, I just told this to Andrew recently, I have 56 drawings of him. This is just, I just go and I don't draw the model anymore because Andrew's sitting still. The model's doing a 5-minute pose, a 10-minute pose, and I can't get any traction on that. And Andrew's just sitting there. So I could really work on the hands and the flute and there's another one where he's playing lovely music for all of us on Tuesday afternoons. If you're ever in Manhattan, these are just walk-in sessions. It's amazing. Okay. And then I did painting. I started a painting, maybe it's the size of the one on this, of a drawing of Andrew. This didn't get anywhere much, but just showing you an example of how I don't want to be out in the snow and all that stuff. I want to be able to paint inside. So I keep trying. And I have painted in the snow. I can tell you that. So this is another one from one of those drawings. And this is it's 2 years old, 3 years old or something, Andrew. And I did this in the studio. So, I don't think I ever liked it. And maybe I don't even know if I do now, but I'm glad I have it. Now, this is back to still, I don't know, Juan Gris. I just like this chopped up cubist space, flat planes and texture and letters and things. And it's so perfectly arranged and really inspiring work every time. I mean, his colors are so beautiful. Maybe I've said that before about somebody else, but he is too. He's a beautiful colors. Okay. And then this is Kevin's painting, Kevin Wickstead, my husband. And he's also involved with trees. This is still on the wall. It's maybe, I don't know, 5, 6 feet. I don't know how tall. It's tall and wide. And he's also a beautiful colorist and likes to, maybe this is his Irish, likes to have puzzles like in the Book of Kells, when you look at those letters in the beginning and it's doing puzzly things. There's always something like that going on, and they're laborious, and I think they're very beautiful. And I just want to say that Kevin was awarded a wonderful award from the Pollock Krasner Foundation. They haven't announced them yet, but it's a lot of money. We're really happy. He's very, very happy. Okay, this is Martika Sawin. She could be listening. I don't know if she's on there, if you can tell who's there. Martika, that's the reason I'm here today, because Jay and some of your recent alumni, Martika donated a lot of books to the library here. And so I was helping with that project. She is passionate about art and just left New York after being there, all of her life, basically. And she knows everything about New York painters. Leland Bell, she's a close friend of Stanley Lewis, who'll be here soon. Rosemary Beck, Robert De Niro, all these New York painters. And she's of a mind to do a book on 5 painters who are no longer living, New York painters, Nell Blaine included, that she knew for 50 years. And I hope she does it. And I hope that, Martika, if you're watching, I hope to come up there. I just wrote you an email about that. She's in Maine now. And she wrote what might be considered by some people the Bible on surrealism. It's a very beautifully designed book. It's kind of surreal in its design. And she's tough and she's got a great eye. And I'm sorry she left New York. The title of the book, the Surrealism in New York.
Surrealism in Exile.
In Exile. Surrealism in Exile. Thank you, Jay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, and you can get it online. I mean, it's a wonderful. Okay, so this is the Yucatan. I'm standing on the roof of the house, and I actually designed with some ideas from others, but mostly designed that little studio down there. That's my studio. And so we're getting recent because that's just 2 years old. And so then the jungle is right outside, like the motif I love. This is a little too white, but that's a little passage down the jungle that I enjoy. I enjoy painting from. And okay, so tragedy struck, and my beloved donkeys died. I don't even think I think I was painting this white flower, and all of a sudden a donkey's head came out, and I thought, well, I'll just go with it. I was kind of crying and painting and crying and painting. So that's one of them. This is another one, and this also came out of nowhere. That is Kalimba, the second one who died. And I'm convinced, you see that serpienta right there with the head? I think that that's what happened to Kalimba. Yeah, and I like this. This is a recent painting. This painting is from this past year. So there's an evolution going on with me. I can't splat all the time because my arm will fall off. And so I'm trying to inspire, I mean, this came out of nowhere, but I'm trying to get some more ways to make pictures. This is called Lamentation. And just for the heck of it, that's me lamenting Kalimba's passing. That's Kalimba in the middle. That's Shoot, the dog, on the lower left. And that's an angel that I grabbed from a Frau Angelica playing a lute or something. And I just thought, well, who cares? I mean, it's like I can paint whatever I want to paint. And there's a lot of freedom to that. So this is also, tears and painting aren't far apart from me sometimes. I mean, sometimes I'm raring to go, but sometimes it just gets you, you're free in your studio to be yourself, and you're safe in your studio. And so you can cry your eyeballs out if you feel like it. And so there you go. Now, this is recent. I think I just finished this one. That's our palapa down there in the Yucatan. And I don't know, somehow red is getting in my face. And so I've been using some red, and just the sun was setting. It was coming through things, and the palm trees were sparkling and all that other good stuff. Okay, this is a still life. In my studio, I've got these beautiful windows. Somebody, Armando, gave me these beautiful windows, and I built the studio practically around them. It reminded me of a Murau. And so this little still life, and I started, this is how I start this painting. This is like post rotator cuff. So I'm kind of scared of the brush on the canvas. It's like, it just really terrifies me. But this is the way this painting started. And then it's the same painting. I just got, I get frustrated, and I just sort of open the things up with the splat. And so there are lots of states in between. And it doesn't look like this right now, but this is what I had a picture of. And it's heading, I'm going to go down there in a few weeks and tackle it again. I guess I've got to find some flowers, but yeah, still life. And this is one of the drawings of the locals. This is my model, Areli. And of course, teenagers, they have their cell phones, even in the jungle of the Yucatan. So, I love drawing. I love drawing her. And I just saw these Francis Bacon self-portraits in Paris. I think they're really powerful. And I just thought I'd show you them. Anyway, so I got a 2-month residency in Paris. I just got back like a month ago. And so some really great things happened there. This is, I met a woman, I was drawing Notre Dame, which is one of my favorite things in the universe. And I met this woman, and she became my muse. And so this is one of the drawings. I did a painting that's still not resolved. I didn't even put that in. Her name is Lily. She's She was going through some in a hospital, suffering from depression. She got out, but so this is her in the hospital. She would let me just draw all the time, and it was really an intense, wonderful relationship. And that one could use a little work somewhere, the eyeballs. Then in Paris, I went drawing in from sculpture in the museums. I have been meditating with a Zen group out of California for about a year now. I just thought I'll go do some drawings. So this is Paris. This is a night painting. So it's obviously, I don't know, I'm out of my element a little bit. I'm using the brush, it's black and white. I worked a long time on this thing, and it looks a little crappy right now, but it's what's going on. Well, this is a beautiful Vuillard. I guess I was discovering him a little bit this trip. This is a drawing he did in Paris, and anybody who's been in Paris knows what the streets look like. And this is a beautiful little pencil drawing out the window, and it's tiny. It might be 4 inches by 3 inches, but I adore it. I think it's beautiful. I did a lot of things of the bridges, and I did 15, and I didn't even put the best ones in, but I just like would go out and do a bridge. So it's very recent. And I got involved with pastels a little bit. I don't like to use pastels that much because I'm a slob in the studio, and the little particles, they can get into your fingers and you can sniff them. And then, suddenly you're of a certain age, and that stuff never leaves your body, the bad stuff. And so you could be twitching and die or something. And so I stopped using pastels. That first drawing of the flowers was from like 25 years ago. And I could tell that I was just chewing my cuticle, and pastels were entering. Anyway, but I thought, if you're outside, you're not going to die. Not a great drawing, but I did go to where Matisse and Rouault, or all those guys, I think it's called the Chaumière. There's a French school. It's kind of like the Art Students League in New York. You can just drop in. And this is just a model that I happened to get. Okay. Well, this is the studio. I don't think this is the final version of this painting, but this is out my studio window in Paris. And this is another attempt to try to, what are you going to do if you can't? I couldn't splat in the studio because I am a slob, and I tried it once, and it went all over the walls. And I even had a big drop cloth down. So I'm really trying to use the brush, so that's the painting out the window. And I probably worked on it a week or so. I mean, got these roses and was trying to do that. Well, this is Marion's, and Marion is a friend that lives near our house now in upstate New York. She's a sculptor and a real good friend. I just love her. And this is her field. And I suffered a big loss. My brother died recently, and I thought, okay, like I never know how things, when you try to pull it into imagery, and I thought, just go paint this painting in blue. I called it Sorrow in Blue, and I had Sorrow in Red. I didn't bring that one. And then I splatted a little bit, and I don't know. I was hoping to feel some, to deal with that. But anyway, this is a recent painting. And just in case I haven't said Kevin's name enough, this is my studio in Millerton, upstate New York, and he's putting a skylight in. And, he just retired, so you get what age group he's in. He's up there on that ladder, putting that thing in, and he's insulated it, put more windows in. He put sheetrock up and put a wooden floor there. And I didn't bring a picture of the interior, too bad, but if you're ever anywhere near me, come drop by, because this is just the most charming. This is like the high in my life right now. I can't believe he's doing that for me. It's just unbelievable. It's beautiful. I'm excited to get back. I was grumbling coming here because it's just got done. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? You're coming down there you're supposed to be up there painting. Thank you, Kevin. You're going to probably see this. You're going to go to Philly, the Barnes. So this is one of my favorite paintings. This is the second to the last slide, The Joy of Life by Matisse. And this painting gives me endless pleasure. I think there are 16 figures in it. And they're animals as well. And I've drawn from it, and I've drawn from reproductions of it, just to try to get it in my crawl, just to get it in there. I don't know how it's coming out, but I want it in there because it's just so brilliant. The color combinations and the rhythm and the surprise. And anyway, and here's my last one, which is from The Joy of Life. This is this little circle that Matisse did these little circles of dancers, and this is just one small one, which is so joyous. And well, I'd like to say one thing. That's the end of the lecture, but I want to bring this up because I was saying to JD, or to Catherine Drabkin, who's here. So when I first started painting, I was drawing the thing. Like you saw those buildings on the thing, and I was doing the thing. Just by blaming Cezanne a little bit. It's not a blame. It's just to bring out the me who's me, which is that Cezanne did a piece of reality and a piece of reality and a piece of reality and a piece of reality, and didn't just put the tree. I mean, in his early paintings, he did do the tree and the man and the woman and all that stuff, but his profound life's work was about a piece, the stuff of things. And so I would put myself clearly in the category of trying to deny the representation of something, even though you've seen it, that I do represent, and I'm bound to my vision, but I'm really committed to the moment of my experience, my visual experience, more than the other way of doing things. And that's my lecture.
I would like to start with what things you ended with. Ask about that. You committed to the moment of the visual experience. That's a beautiful way to put that. Was it a process? Was there an epiphany? Could you speak to arriving at that clarity?
Well, I that's what I was saying. I sort of blame Cezanne. Like, if you're gonna, so I'm just gonna quote Graham Nixon. I don't think anybody here's from the studio school, but in a lunch conversation with him, he goes, I hope he's not watching this, but he said something like, there are only two ways to paint. There's only two ways to paint. Two type of painters in the world. You either have something to say or something to find. And I mean, that doesn't exactly answer the question, but it does in a certain way. Because if you're trying to find and you're really ripping apart reality, in my opinion, it does come down to the moment on the plane. The plane is, this conscious thing, and you're trying to relate to the thing on the plane via what you're looking at. And that's as close to reality as I can get. If I say something, if I make tree, then I'm making tree. I'm saying something about tree. Trees. So once I realized what I found compelling, then I just started putting a dot down there, like a dot for that. I might start the painting out with, there's a dark green there, and there's a light blue there, and there's three light yellows, and then it starts to pulse, and then you can kind of go, well, that's too light a yellow, so let me put some blue on that, and let me push that back. And so it's this kind of puzzle that replicates the experience I'm having in space and light, only on the camera.
All right, we've got a question here from Vincent Patterson on Zoom. Ro, why do you sometimes choose to draw and other times choose to paint? Is it the image you see before you? Is it a mood?
No, it's a circumstance. Painting is sloppy and hard to set up. And like the way I paint, I'm looking for a table right now. I need some tables to be outside. You know, if I really want to paint my paintings, and then sometimes you just want to be making pictures because you're going nuts and you just want to be on that two-dimensional thing. So I think I love painting, but I draw because oil paint is so expansive and it's so infinite what you can do that I would prefer to oil paint, but it's harder to set up and get going there. So I draw.
Sarah Allen has a question. How do you get the space and form to work in your splatter paintings?
If you're trying to take a line through space in the drawing and you're trying to study space on a two-dimensional plane, then you understand interval. You're training yourself to do interval. That's what you're doing. All you guys are doing in these drawings. Train from here to here, or maybe here from here to here. But you're trying to understand an interval in space. You're not trying to understand the shoulder blade exactly. You're trying to, and then you get, I've been doing this a long time, so I kind of understand when something is a flat, lousy painting, or whether it's got. I understand. Your eyes are more sophisticated. And when I'm painting, I can feel that this pocket doesn't replicate the breadth of space that I'm experiencing. So I have a sense of space. I'm going to cop to that. I'm going to say I have that. And that's big for me to say I have that, but that's how the paintings get it when they get it. If they do get it, when they get it.
You talked about sound in those paintings you
In
showed.
Martha's painting.
But I wanted you to maybe talk more about like what creates that in a painting, or like some painters who are good at that.
Arthur Dove is one. I don't know what it's something that it eludes me. Martha did it. It's just like when something echoes out and you sort of, it goes beyond the visual. But I don't have it. I don't know it. I can't do it. It's not in my repertoire. I would just say, keep your eyes out for it. When you go to museums, it happens.
I was wondering if you could describe the difference between drawing from figures and animals.
There is no difference to me. I just like looking at living things, if they're nude, if they're clothed, if they're young, if they're old, if they got a ponytail on their head, or if they smile, or these animals come up to you. I'm in the animal phase of my life. Well, I don't draw. It's funny. I don't exactly draw like my best paintings. I'm completely linear in most of my drawings. I think it's just helping me study interval, and it's what attracts you to be studying. Like if you're attracted to icebergs or something, you got to go to icebergs. I don't know. This is dumb. What engages you in your journey as a painter is to figure out what turns you on to keep you at it.
My question is, this is what I'm always struggling with and failing with too, is what helps you, or what gets you to a place, or how do you know when you're in a place when what you're working on is complete?
Oh, that doesn't happen very often for me. It's like where you go, oh, I put the last stroke on that. Like there's always, I've destroyed so many paintings, and I am a camera bug. I've got like 18,000 photographs. If anybody knows how to get them off there, tell me. But I take them all the time, and I have all these versions of all these things. And I go past it a lot because there's these two words, go further. And I don't know, I'm hardwired with these stupid words, go further.
So whatever I'm doing, I want to go further. And then suddenly you've gone further and you blew it. So I don't know. Sometimes you think, I'll put that last. Kevin says, will you stop already? You know, I can't help you. It's terrible.
I think it's the problem, like it's one of those big problems.
Yeah, I think yeah. Just get it ripped out before you start going further. What does JD say about that? How do
I
you
think
know?
that's great also.
Yeah, but you have the
But-
sun setting, so it's then it's
You-
set. and you're
There's a
done.
limit to that, yeah. And then I constantly am working on the next painting.
Oh, because
You know, one leads to the next one for me. So I put that aside.
Mhm, mhm.
And, you know, I remember Resica saying one time, can you make it better? As a way to say, are you finished?
Yes.
You know, can you make that better?
Mhm.
And if you don't think you can make, you know, like 2 or 3 lines or marks or colors, put it aside and then maybe come back to it. But I think it is one of the things that you deal with your whole life as a painter.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have anything stretched up. You have nothing else, you want to keep painting and it's like, oh, damn, but now I'm going to stretch up a bunch.
How would you define rhythm in a painting?
Well, it's where like in El Greco or something, you know, where your eye is just sailing in and out of space before you know it. Somehow he's led you through this geometric rhythm and then all of a sudden you're back there and what happened? How did I get, you know, or Titian does it, you know, just really, it moves through space. And it might not be a line, it might be an edge, and that you are suddenly somewhere where you weren't when you started. And you go, I didn't even see that. I didn't even know there was that big wedge of space between there, but the rhythm led you over there and come back. I don't think it's anything you learn as a beginner painter. It's too hard. I mean, you have to really be able to jump from thing to thing and, you know, understand that and have a real sense of interval. Is there one more?
It's like, yeah, it's similar.
Is it a good question?
It's about drawing.
Okay.
And it's about the influence of some of the images you showed, in particular, Nicholas Caroni. If you would like to talk about the Nicholas Caroni and maybe possible connections to your drawing.
Yeah, well, Caroni was my drawing teacher and a mentor, and he was a Hoffman student and an Italian. So you have to understand these Italians, they've got gifted hands. They're just this beauty. It's this beauty. And so like in Nick's case, he studied at the Leonardo da Vinci School of Art. He studied like the academy stuff, plastered casts and stuff like that. Then they went to the model. So he has all that academic training under his belt. And then he went to Hoffman, and Hoffman's little push-pull stuff, where the rectangle is the first 4 lines, and whatever you put on is the 5th line. So you have to be conscious of that thing. Nick was brilliant at that. So he merged that, and then he became friends with Mata, a brilliant surrealist, and started to dig into his unconscious. So he had mastery of the line, mastery of volume, mastery of the figure, all this stuff, and then just even got macular degeneration at the end, you know, and could still be carrying your eye and hand. It could be animals, they could be somebody's having sex, there's a battle scene, but seeing how he could have that command, it did inspire me that I could go further in my own kind of drawing, you know, to keep pushing at, in my case, volume and line, and to represent, you know, I guess. What was the question?
Yeah, and then to end on your own drawings, talking about your own
Oh,
drawings.
yeah. Well, I just love to draw. I just love drawing from life. And So I've drew my mother at the kitchen table for many years. Just on and on and on. And I've got so many drawings. I don't even know what's going to happen, but I love drawing. It's not going to stop me from drawing. That's all there is to it. And I have to say, this is weird, but I'm just going to say it because you're art students, and I don't know who else is out there, but if I get like, oh God, I just didn't remember that, or I flubbed that one, or, I forgot that, or something like that. And then I just go to myself, yeah, but you can draw, though. You can draw. And I think drawing has really given me just like, okay, yeah, I can't match these intellectual, all these brilliant people, all these people, but I can draw. And it's just like, that's it. I just keep drawing. And if it's an animal, if it's buildings, I don't like drawing trees that much, but I like something alive that moves. And,
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks very much.